Hey guys, welcome to my vlog. So in this video I am going to speak a bit about how to change yourself, because it's so easy if you know how to do it, but however, maintaining that very change is something challenging for each and every one of us. But yes, change. How do you change, basically speaking? It's not tough. The process is basically a process of 4 stages, and the first one is where you are unaware of the change. You don't know if you can change, and you don't know if you can change one particular aspect you want to change. Then comes the second stage, where you become aware of the change that needs to be done, and you contemplate about changing it, but you're not too sure. Then comes the third stage, which is the stage of action, when you try to change. Continuously try and succeed and do not succeed, it doesn't matter, because this particular part, as well as the fourth one, will be the same. It will take a lot of time. The final one is about it will take time, the fourth one, and it is about the maintenance aspect. That is, you made the change. For instance, you've decided to stop smoking, and then you have to maintain it, because in your mind you have decided to stop smoking forever. Therefore you have to maintain it, and according to studies, it basically takes 31 days to make the change natural. But it won't make you stopping smoking, for instance, natural. It will be easier after 31 days to not to smoke. Then you have to continuously maintain it and avoid any kind of stimulus that will promote this habit. For instance, you cut off from friends that you usually accompany just for the sake of smoking. You just stop meeting them. It doesn't matter what they think about you. And in general, if you're trying to please people, you will be always unhappy, and you will see that you're always at the back, very low, instead of being able to achieve your dreams, because people think likewise, and basically there is the group think, and whenever you enter the group, they will force you, unconsciously or not, to think like they do. Therefore you have to cut off from those ties as far as possible. And basically it takes usually like 2 years for you to make that change completely natural. For some people it might take a shorter time. It depends on the nature and the intensity, and of course the difficulty of the change. For instance, stopping to smoke is quite difficult, and it will take a lot of time. But for instance, you want to do something much more challenging, it will take up to 2 years. And for me, for example, it took around 6 months for me to become supernatural with going to exercise every day. At first it was highly conscious. I was conscious that I needed to go and exercise, but after 6 months, basically it became second nature for me. Whenever I woke up, it was there. I knew I had to run or walk or go to the gym. And this is the most important part, but it's not the easiest part, unfortunately. It takes time, it takes effort, and this is how you get it. And coming back to the very step of change, you have to believe in yourself, because it's tough to just go and wait for something else to happen. You have to be proactive in your approach. Talking about proactive, there are basically 4 levels of being proactive, each being absolutely important. The first one is let me remember. I usually use an abbreviation to remember: CAPP. The first is corrective, second is adaptive, third is preventing, and fourth is perfective. All of them are pretty interesting, and I believe the most important one is, well, all of them are pretty important, but the most important one is basically how you respond. That is the first and the second. corrective and adaptive. Then you become a little bit more conscious, more aware of life or your lifestyle, and you go into the preventive mode to avoid diseases, for instance. And fourth, you get the perfective, when you continuously improve. So coming back to the first one, which is corrective. For instance, you make a mistake, you know how to correct. Second one is adaptive. There's a change in your environment and you should be changing. And how to apply that in your life. Being proactive meaning you do things right now. You don't wait. And change, whenever we are talking about change, we are talking about being proactive. You don't wait for an external force to remind you of something or to help you in the change. Yes, it's interesting, it's helpful sometimes to have that external change, especially when we are, for instance, changing our behavior or eliminating a bad habit. It's important, but most of the time we will not be having that change. Therefore, we have to count on ourselves, and once we've developed the ability to become proactive, to good lifestyles as well, energetic lifestyle, because if you don't have the energy, you won't be able to change regardless. Once we've done that, it's far easier. So I hope this was a helpful video. Ciao.